FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
And 8 Taut milks and some spotchka. Come on. And guess who I've got in with me here today? It is the Aries Tarrington Show live, regular time, regular station on a Wednesday evening. And are you kidding me? My friend Kiko collects. Kiko, what's going down, brother?
Aries, it is so good to be on the show with you. And you know I'm a big fan of the Market Chart Show. But this is our show today. You know, I'm not just a panelist. I am a guest. And this is awesome. This is going to be a great, great time, man.
Yeah, that you are exactly right. You know, you are not just a panelist, you're a guest. It's our show. Thank you so much. I know you enjoy the Market Chart Show. Looking forward to just having a blast. And listen, welcome to everybody who's in here on the Aries Tarrington Show. Look, the Aries Tarrington Show, we kind of talk about life. We talk about hot toys. We talk about possibilities. We talk about anything. But the first thing I got to ask you, I really was rooting for you this past Sunday with the Super Bowl. But I have to ask you, how confident were you going into halftime? They pulled ahead. What was your feeling like at halftime with the Bengals?
So it's funny that you bring this up because I've officially kind of removed myself and unplugged from. So if you notice, I haven't really been on my social channels a lot. And until today, I posted a couple things just onto Instagram because it was that painful, Aries, to be that close. Going out of half, because I know we're a second half team, and I know this isn't a football show by any means, but let's just talk about football for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, as you know, for about a month and a half, I suppose, I was rooting on my Cincinnati Bengals. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. You know, the toy department, shout out toy department. My mom is actually going there right now to pick up my ticket for their 4th anniversary giveaway. Ooh. By the way, sidetracked here. If you're in Ohio and you're in Cincinnati, Fairfield area, go to the toy department. It's their 4-year anniversary this week. You can get no purchase necessary. You can go and get a ticket for a drawing. And here's these incredible prizes. And it's all free. You don't have to do anything. You can win a Hot Toys Armorer. You can win a HasLab Sentinel. You can win the Razor Crest that just came out. I think a Cobra Dome from the old G.I. Joes. And there's one other one. I mean, an incredible lineup of free prizes. So check that out if you've not done so already. Check out their Instagram at Toy Department as well. That's not a plug for them by any means, but my mom's going to pick up my ticket for me. She's going to be my prop.
Man, that's a lot of stuff. You make me spill my coffee just on that.
I know, but I digress. But the Toy Department's in Cincinnati, where I'm from. Home of the Bengals. And so for the past 90 days or so, I was like, we're going to the playoffs. It's going to be super cool. And every time I was on the Market Chart Show, I was like, man, I'm super nervous. I hope we win this game. We win this game. And we kept winning these games. We made our way all the way to the Super Bowl. And during the playoffs, Aries, we've had a really good adjustment at halftime. We would make some defensive adjustments and shut some of the best teams down. And then we really come alive in the second half. So if we were within striking distance, at half, I felt very, very confident. We come out of the half, Burrow to T. Higgins, 75-yard touchdown immediately, right out the gate. And I'm like, this is it. This is where we drive the nail home. And then the next play, and this is an adult show, and you talk about spilling coffee. I literally spilt my tequila on this one. So we had a great time. I said, all right, tequila shots. We got the lead, touchdown. I'm taking the shot, and at that moment, Matt Stafford throws that interception. I spit my tequila all over my TV, all over everything. And you talk about spilling coffee. Tequila was everywhere. I spit it on my dog, everything. And so I was feeling that good. But I know.
Yeah, baby, come on.
You play 60 minutes. You play 60 minutes. And I'm not trying to I don't want to be that guy that blames anyone, because at the end of the day, you have to score more points than your opponent. That's the bottom line. But I was very disappointed that the game came down to flags. And I'm not going to say, the refs handed it to them or conspiracy theories. I mean, you got to make the play. But if you let them play for 58 minutes, don't start busting out flags in the last two, because it really soured a really good game.
Oh.
And I was feeling confident, on that final drive. They can't kick a field goal. We're up by 4. They have to score a touchdown. It's 3rd and 8, and they throw that pass interference call that wasn't pass interference, in my opinion. And so that puts them right on the goal line again, and then they end up doing that go-ahead touchdown. But then we have a minute and a half to score down the field, and we'd win. And we just couldn't get it done. There were some offside penalties that they didn't call. There was some questionable play choices, spotting of the ball. But you know what? At the end of the day, it was a hell of a ride. I'm happy to say that my team was in the Super Bowl, and I will see you guys next year in the Super Bowl. There's my bold prediction from the Bengals wizard that we will be in the Super Bowl next year.
Well, listen, I'm actually really glad. And welcome, everybody. This is the Aries Tarrington Show. My special guest, Kiko Collects, is in here. And I want to continue with this because I'm glad that this show was until Wednesday. Because you have to wonder, did you need a couple of days to kind of thaw out? Because, and you bring up a great point, and you did. This is the first time you've really, like you said, come out of your shell with it. I know from being a diehard sports fan, and, whether it's a specific MMA star I'm looking for, or if it's my baseball team, which is the New York Yankees. Come on, I love them all. But listen, since I was 7 years old, come on. And, listen, I was able to root for you because you're not a Ravens or a Browns fan, but I'm a Steelers fan, so you know how it goes. You get so into this stuff. You get so emotional. Like, I'll be sitting there with my brother-in-law watching a Steelers game, or I'm watching a Yankees playoff game, and my heart rate must be at about 140, 150. You kind of go with the whole crowd, whether it's TV or whether you're live. So you bring up a great point. I know from the way you were talking about it, it must have been just so crazy for you, dude.
Yeah, man. I went ahead and I walked out, did a lap around the neighborhood, just to kind of calm down, because I mean,
Yep.
you're supercharged at that moment. It's the biggest sporting event in the world at that moment, your team. And yeah, I mean, I read all the Twitters, did all that stuff that night. And then when I woke up, I was just kind of sick, and just like, we were that close, and you kind of start running the what ifs in your head. And I'm like, I just can't. I'm going to have to unplug from all this because it's too painful to just look, because I'm just going to keep running it back in my head, and I can't go back and replay the game. It's not Madden where you just kind of reset it and restart. I mean, it's over. It's done. So yeah, I kind of unplugged for a couple bits. I was kind of keeping a little bit of a pulse on everybody, seeing what everyone's doing, but I wasn't posting. I wasn't making any videos. But now I'm back in a big way here on the Aries Tarrington Show. Ready to talk toys again, ready to talk anything you want, man. And I'm just glad you had me.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. And look, Arum is in the house with the dollar drop with the super sticker. Thank you so much. And Arum from the Barnett Network. So glad to have her in here. You could check her out there. Also on Lael's show. Lael, 1/6 Scale Man, has a show every Thursday. Uncivilized Scoundrels, and I've been on there before. Can't wait to go on there again, and you can catch her on there as well. Looking forward to having her on the Aries Tarrington Show and getting the market show here soon. Been talking to her, so that's great. Welcome in the house. Thank you for the drop. And look, all right, I just got to ask you this because this bothered me, and I really haven't. I haven't followed sports except for fighting as deeply as I did since COVID, for a variety of reasons, of course, but super into anything MMA I could discuss with you. But the thing that bothered me at the end of this game, and I have no dog in this fight, except really just rooting for you, baby. I thought that they were running the ball really, really well. And I think it was 4th and 1. And I was like, why didn't you run the ball on that play where, it was the last time that they had possession. I'm sure in Cincinnati they were talking about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just looking at it as, following this stuff for years. Do you think that they're second guessing that call to throw the ball because they were running it so successful? I felt like if they jammed it up the middle, they get the first down. But am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. So go back to that 3rd and 8, which I felt there was a really, really bad spot that led to the 4th and 1. I personally feel like the tip touched the line and it would have been first down. I felt like forward progress enough, but it was a bad spot,
Mhm.
4th and 1.
Mhm.
So with 4th and 1, at very minimum, Joe Mixon, their main running back, is not on the field. It's not even like there's not even an option to run him. He wasn't on the field for 4th and 1. And that blew my mind because, like you said, it's a yard and you keep going. Now, I
Mhm.
think there's something because Zach Taylor's head coach, he's still a young coach. I think going back to the San Francisco game when they marched all the way down the field, and they took it to overtime. They marched down the field. Joe was slinging it, and then they get to the goal line and they run Mixon 3 times, and he didn't get in. And people are like, "Why didn't you let Joe throw? He obviously was cooking. He was doing his thing." And I think that might have been in his head saying, I can't take the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands at this moment because if we don't get it, everyone's going to grill me forever saying, you got to let Joe throw that ball. But all that to say, it's a very risky call and you can keep running it a million times. We found out today that he was playing through an MCL sprain, which, hats off for, Joe being tenacious enough to do that. And then also, not being that person, but Aaron Donald was offsides on that last play. He had at least
Mhm.
a foot head start. And when you have not figure, here I am talking. When you have a character of that magnitude, you can't give them even an extra inch. And that was the difference in the play. And there's shown some different areas where Chase was wide open. He burnt Ramsey again. If Burrow has a tenth of a second more, he hits Chase in stride, game-winning touchdown. But that's a lot of what ifs. And I know there's plenty of Marvel what ifs out there, and I'm not going to play that today. So we got beat, and let's run it back, man.
Well, damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. I'm totally with you. And welcome everybody. I have Kiko Collects with me here on the Aries Tarrington Show. It is Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. More and more of you are coming in, so welcome. And in case you don't know who I am the Dark Jedi Aries Tarrington, and I serve up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk. But like Kiko said when he first came on, it's kind of like our show today. I'm really, really excited. Let me put this up, Kiko, onto the board from Night of Ren, 789. What up, Aries and Kiko? What's up to you, my friend? I got some Grail figures in recently. All right. Rogue One, Vader, and Krennic. Wow, that's pricey, and that's good. You get good deals on those. That's incredible. They are such great figures. Yes, I don't have either of them, but they're on my. I got some Grails of my own, buddy. I got some Grails of my own. I'll tell you about in a little bit. What's your guys' thoughts on them? And do you have them? Thanks. Well, I already answered one part of your question. I'll go first before we go to Kiko. I do not have the Rogue One Vader, but is it on my list? And is the Krennic on my list? And I say yes. I hear a lot of great things about the Rogue One Vader and a lot of comparisons to the Empire Strikes Back Vader, which I do have, which is absolutely exceptional. My plan is to acquire every Vader, even the A New Hope Vader. If I want to get the A New Hope Vader from the Tarkin 2-pack, which is a little bit more movie accurate subtly than the one that comes by itself, which is another reason why that Vader and Tarkin 2-pack is absolutely insane. That is going up. The Han Solo and Chewbacca from A New Hope is going up. Han Solo and Chewbacca from The Force Awakens is going up even more. That Krennic, a head sculpt, oh my goodness. That's one of the best head sculpts they ever did. So yes, I plan on getting both. Kiko, go ahead. He wanted to ask you if you have both of these.
Yeah, so I definitely have Krennic. As you said, the head sculpt is probably a top 5 Star Wars of all time, maybe even a top 10 of all Hot Toys of all time. And the thing about the Krennic that I love is that you can take the hair off and put the hat on, which is really cool. And he looks even better in the hat, if you ask me. I think he looks really good in the hat. Comes with the poncho, the white cape. It's so good. I'm looking at it right now, right across from me. Pairing with a Death Trooper, man, that's an absolute win. Absolute win. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but I do have the Tarkin 2-pack with Vader. I think it is the same as the Rogue One, maybe a very subtle difference, because I know the main difference between the Tarkin one was the gloves from the New Hope version. So I don't know. Maybe there's some red lenses, I think, is the difference in the Rogue
Well,
One one.
the Rogue One and the one that comes in a 2-pack, the Rogue One Vader is a lot more. I believe it's a lot more shinier. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's very much like you saw Vader in A New Hope, but I think I'm trying to go back to Vader in Rogue One. I think that was kind of more shinier before that battle at the end. That's the Vader that you're getting. So I think it's a lot different. I think the difference and I don't know exactly all the differences because it's been a while since I looked at those reviews, but since I watched several reviews, probably more than several, it's been on my radar to get the Darth Vader from A New Hope, Kiko, that comes with the Tarkin 2-pack because all the reviews have
Yeah.
said it's
I think
more
that's
movie accurate.
I think it's the definitive Vader. Like I'm looking at it right now. It's got the right head sculpt, not head sculpt, but it's the right proportions. Looks fantastic. He's wider. The tailoring's better, and the paint's a little more muted. You go all the way to Return of the Jedi, and he's like absolutely shiny. Chromed out almost. But when he first steps through the Star Destroyer on A New Hope, he's kind of muted. Kind of dull paint, and I like that because it really catches some lights better as opposed to being really shiny. And one of the things I also like about the New Hope Vader, or the one from the 2-pack, is the tusks are right. One's kind of black and one kind of white.
Mhm.
And I love that that's so film accurate like that. So if you're asking me which one do I want, I'm going with the Tarkin 2-pack version as opposed to the Rogue One because I think that is the definitive Vader. But the Krennic is a 10 out of 10, and you cannot go wrong with the Rogue One at all. Those are both fantastic figures. 100%.
No, no, absolutely. And Night of Red says, yes, it's a shiny boy. It is very shiny. And also says A New Hope has the dull finish like from the movie. Absolutely. And Kiko saying hi to some of you all in here. Welcome in here. 808 Michigan Jedi at the house bartender. Can I get a bottle of your Camino My Tea drink? Absolutely, baby. I've got the bottle right here. 808. How did you know? And listen, look what's on tap tonight, everybody. We have Spotchka, Fennec's favorite, Boba's favorite, Cobb Van's favorite. And you have to wonder, is Grogu actually sitting at table 5 tonight, waiting for Popstick to show up? Let's find out. I just had to refill him, Kiko. Goodness gracious.
The good thing is it doesn't take a lot to refill it. It's a small cup.
That's why I got to
Yeah.
refill him so much.
It's so good. Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying refill Grogu during the show. I said, how much could this little guy drink? Because he is very small. Kiko, I wasn't going to get into quarter scale figures, okay? And this has been very interesting. I wanted to kind of get into this with you. Putting this up from Van City. I am at the usual table 99. Need some more coffee and off-world Jawa egg juice coming right up. We're here to serve you, my friend. Welcome in here, Van City. But listen, who dares sit at table 66? Let me know. But I'm going to pull this up onto the screen, Kiko. Okay, so look, man, dude, I'm going to pull this up. I have the quarter scale Grogu, which I did not open up yet. I showed everybody that's in my box. I have some unboxings to do. And I have another special one, which I'm going to let people know about a little later in the show. And I can't wait to open that up because I had no interest in really getting that Mandalorian. But, just kind of opening up the table to start a conversation with you here. Are you kidding me? With this freaking quarter scale figure. I couldn't believe how good this Boba Fett looked. And I want to get to this part first if I can get one of these. This is uncanny, dude. It is uncanny how well I think, and so many others in capturing this. I didn't think you can do better than that 2-pack Boba Fett that's up right now, that we're seeing. But I'm telling you right now, there's no way, Kiko, I'm not getting this. And one of the things that I came to a conclusion with is when it comes to quarter scale for just Star Wars Hot Toys, and that's all I collect is Star Wars. There's not a whole lot out there. There's like 4 with this now. If you want to include the Grogu, I guess 5. So for me, I think I'm going to get this, but if they keep pumping out quarter scale figures that have a likeness like this, and it seems like with every show that they're pumping one out. But let me just stop with this. What was your impressions on this quarter scale Boba Fett?
You hit it right on the head. It is uncanny, and because of the bigger real estate that you're working with, you can do a lot more detail. My first quarter scale figure was the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader that comes with the Sebastian Shaw head, and that is uncanny because it's bigger for one, and you can just get so many wrinkles in the eyes, and it's beautiful to see. And when you kind of walk into a room and you see a quarter scale figure, I mean, all these behind me are really cool, but there's something show stealing about a quarter scale figure. And then when you have a head sculpt that is this realistic, it's a little bit eerie because people are going to be like, okay, that's kind of creepy. I can see the pores, the textures. This thing's sweating. What is happening here? But it's great. And the best part about this is that it is the updated, head, with the, I guess from the back, he's got his eyebrows back, which looks good. And for a Boba Fett figure who is iconic with his helmet, I see his helmet on your hat right now. There's no way you could have this quarter scale figure and not display the head sculpt. There's just no way to do it.
No, there's no way. And thank you so much, Chewy73, with that $5 drop here on the Aries Tarrington show here on a Wednesday evening. My special guest, Kiko from Kiko Collects. And listen, if you subscribe to Kiko from Kiko Collects, if you haven't, you absolutely need to do so. I have the link to Kiko within the video description below.
You're
And you
too
have
kind,
to,
friend. Too
yes.
kind.
Well, and I also have him on 6scalecantina.com, which we'll get to a little bit later. It has a resources and links tab right after the market chart tab. And you can find Kiko right in there, or just type in his name on YouTube, Kiko Collects, and subscribe. Come on. But he said, Chewy 73, I've never collected a quarter scale, but I really think this Boba Fett will be my first. Thank you so much for that. I see some people here that have sat at table 66. I'll get to it. You're oh goodness gracious. You're taking a risk. You're taking a risk doing that, sitting at table 66. But going back to this, I think a lot of people are feeling like Chewy 73 with that super chat. And like I said, I mean, this is so here's the thing. I was afraid, Kiko, I would go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, which is why I don't get into a whole other bit of lines. But really, I mean, for me, and I thought about this, I still probably am not going to get the Mandalorian that's out right now because it doesn't come with the head sculpt. This does. And I really do feel, and we could talk about this whether it's now or later on, I really do feel with at least 2 more seasons coming with the Mandalorian, we're probably going to get another quarter scale one, and probably with a Pedro Pascal head sculpt. He's like the nucleus right now for Star Wars. I don't see them not doing it. But I feel like the only one I really need to get, I don't necessarily need the quarter scale Boba Fett that came out before, but the only one that has a head sculpt is the Darth Vader. So I will go down that rabbit hole. This will force me to get that. As I was thinking about it the last couple days, I thought I had to get all 4. But I was already looking every week. I look every week and consider getting that Darth Vader anyway. I've just been waiting for the 6 scale version, which I'll still get. So I really feel like, hey, for this, it's not that bad of a rabbit hole for me. The thing that's going to happen, possibly an Ewan McGregor. They seem like with maybe every series you get 1 quarter scale figure, maybe. I think with that one you may get a Vader, that you may get a Hayden Christensen just to pair it. But I think maybe 1 character, your main character every series, possible. Can you imagine a Ahsoka Tano a Rosario Dawson from the Ahsoka series. My God.
Well, I know
Um,
I think there's a premium format statue that's either being released or coming out that looks
mhm.
really good as well. So I'm a fan of this scale, and I posted some new I guess statues, that I'd gotten starting to dabble with. I posted those on Instagram, and there is something about a big shelf presence, and these quarter scale figures, statues, things like that, premium format figures, they're special, and I know that there's a little bit of a hefty price tag to it, but there's something that you can appreciate. And you feel like you're even further removed from toys and that you really do have a piece of art. And that's exactly what this is an absolute piece of art. People at the highest level doing their craft. Very, very cool to be in a world where we have the technology to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, and Aram says that 6 scale Mafia, this Boba Fett is perhaps the quarter scale figure of the year. I agree with her because I don't even know how you could top this. They're not going to come out with I don't know very many more. I mean, maybe announce this year with these. It doesn't get any better than this. No, I agree with her. And again, welcome having Aram in here, and then also welcome having 6 scale Mafia in here, Anthony. I can't wait to get this perfection. And also right in here, Fabio from Fab's Figures is in the house. Check this guy out as well. He's got the greatest, the largest, the most insane collection in the world, and that I've seen. And I was actually showing it to some friends this weekend. I'll get into that in a little bit. But it seems like a lot of people have those comments in here about this particular figure, and I I'm giving a lot of credit, Kiko, to the head sculpt, but the rest of this figure just looks so good. And
It's great, and didn't mean to interrupt you, but I mean, what I thought was a big upgrade, and I think the armor from this show, as opposed to the repaint from
Mhm.
Mandalorian, it's more traditional Boba Fett because it looks more weathered. I loved the idea of the repaint idea, but this is a bounty hunter that doesn't need to have a repaint. He needs to look edgy, and I love the scar, the scratch against the helmet. That looks fantastic. They refixed the backpack. I love his little black pants. This figure's incredible, and I think it's a 10 out of 10. It really is, and I can't wait for it to actually come out into production. Do not sleep on it by any means. You've heard people talk about the demand for quarter scale figures isn't that high because of the price point,
Mhm.
but certainly don't, if you're considering it, consider it because it's worth it. And if you do go, get the deluxe base because they are so much better and they just really add to the realism of the figure. And if I can make any recommendation, if you want to plan for it, budget for it, find a figure that you may not, if you like this, find a figure that you have on pre-order, something like that you may not love, cancel that and put it towards this because you will love this figure when you have it, and get the deluxe base because they really, really knock these things out of the park. I promise, man, they really do.
You know, here's the interesting thing. You brought up two interesting points on there. One that I want to go ahead and talk to you about a little bit. Um, you talk about the market, perhaps how fast this is going to sell out, and quarter scale figures just don't from Hot Toys. But I want to talk to you about that. It's very interesting. But the first thing I want to talk to you about, and it was my first reaction to this, I really haven't been that crazy about Boba Fett on the throne. I am 1000% getting it. I love the clean look. I'm going to be getting it. I was always way more interested into the very weathered Mandalorian season 2 Boba Fett that we saw Cobb Vanth adoring that outfit as well. Um, but this one has some special magic for me. I agree. One of the first things I noticed about this was, just how beautiful this looks with more weathering than at the very beginning of the show. And I think that makes how big of a difference do you think this is making? I'm talking about subconsciously because you hit something that was subconscious for me. Um,
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, going back to Mandalorian, you see him get his armor back, and there's
mhm.
that incredible scene, and killing the stormtroopers, blowing up ships with his rocket. Oh, Boba Fett's back. Then, literally, the next episode, he looks like he's a cosplayer. You're like, where did he get this outfit? It looks like he's on his way to Celebration or Comic-Con because this is not the Boba Fett I know. I mean, why would you do that essentially? But then when they kind of upgraded it to this, to a more traditional, okay, this is the Boba Fett I know, started to chip away a little bit. This is the definitive post Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good. And putting this up from Seth Reckup. Seth is in the house, my man Seth, who says, best Boba Fett figure, in my opinion, is still the animated blue Fett. That is an absolutely sick Fett. And you have to wonder, is that figure hitting astronomical limits right now? And I say, along with the vintage color of Boba Fett, they are all rising after the series. Whether you want to say help of the Mando, not help of the Mando, whatever it is, Boba Fett is on fire. And as a result of this particular figure as well, and actually the Return of the Jedi Fetts right now, which have been doing it all through the show, continue to rise, particularly the one that comes with the Sarlacc pit. Go, Kiko.
To me, it's so interesting, the whole idea of Boba Fett and the love for it. I'm just kind of looking at it right now, and I was blown away to see the statistic that I think the finale was like 32% higher than Mando season 2 finale that had Luke and Grogu and him taking the helmet off.
Mhm.
Those numbers are astronomical to me because, say what you want, I felt like Boba Fett, the show, wasn't as well received as Mando season 2. But I mean, we're talking about 32% higher on the finale than the Mando finale. Is it potentially, I'll use your line, you have to wonder, is the Star Wars hype train just continuing to build, and each show will continue to have another high influx of people watching the finale because of the Luke moment? Everyone wants to see what the big moment is going to be. Is that potentially why so many people tune in?
Listen, you're going to make me spill my spotchko. We're going to talk about that right now but I want to go ahead and welcome everybody who's coming into the Aries Charrington Show. Thank you so much, Seth, for the $5 drop. It is possible that I'm going to have a special unboxing on my Cantina Insiders for Cantina Insiders on a figure that I just got from Seth. I tried to talk him out of it. I tried to get out of it, but look, he wanted to go ahead and give me a very, very special figure set, which I will be telling you more about. And this guy is outstanding. One of the nicest things that anyone has ever done for me. And I'm so looking forward to doing an official unboxing coming up soon. Again, big shout out there to Seth. Much, much, much appreciated. But you hit the nail on the head, Kiko. And you said you have to wonder. And here's the thing. I am not surprised by, did you say 32%? Okay. Because at the fandom here, with our hardcore fans in this community, we get very, very hypercritical. And actually, a lot of people that were being very critical about it were like, oh, I'm going to give it 7, 8 out of 10. A lot of people on the outside, like my 2 other daughters, like their friends I was just over, saying, oh, that was awesome. Did you see the Mandalorian in there? Did you see Grogu? Yeah, Boba Fett's cool. To them, it actually was like so exciting. And that's the thing we have to take into consideration, is that they're not just marketing to our small little band of people that really want every single thing. We want to hold George Lucas like a puppet master and have him make every move. No, go this way. No, go that way. No, don't resurrect that one. We've had 5 people resurrected. Never do that. Do it exactly like this. And I personally think Favreau and Filoni are doing you talk about touchdowns, you talk about home runs, hitting it out of the park. Because make no mistake about it, they do have to please Disney and the new Disney president. They don't just have free reign to do whatever they want. And they also have to also plug in the integrity of Star Wars and make the fandom happy. There's a lot of juggling there, Kiko, as you know. And I think when you take all that into consideration, wow, how fantastic. They did exactly what they set out to do, which was getting everybody talking about Mandalorian 3. Grogu's not gone forever. They're going to tune in. Grandma's going to tune in. But yeah, I like getting into this with you. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I saw in the chat they said, "Do the normies outweigh the?" I'm sorry, do the new fans outweigh the normies? And I would love to know that. I know they built a theme park to get people in and to continue this story and continue building out to people. I think there is something about a Star Wars fan and the Star Wars community to where we feel entitlement to voice our displeasure. We make sure to let people know when we're not happy, but also at the same time, we do throw praise and admiration to those that, feel like they deserve it. But I feel like there were never, ever, going all the way back to 1977, no one was ever completely satisfied with Star Wars. And so I think that there will always be the vocal minority of people that will always complain about everything. But I don't know where I come out yet, because I still want that EU feel, if that makes any sense. Is that
Oh,
I
yeah.
grew up when I'm 35 years old. And so in the 90s, that's the only thing I had, man, is that I was going to my public library to rent the Thrawn trilogy and to rent Truce at Bakura, The Courtship of Princess Leia, Tales from Jabba's Palace. Those are all the books that I read, growing up as a kid. So those are stuck in my mind, unfortunately, because I've had more of that growing up than I've had of Disney Star Wars. So just over time, with any relationship, the more you're with somebody, eventually, it starts to make a little more sense to you, and you start to love some of the things that weren't uh, as flattering when you first met them, just like any relationship, and you grow to love those
Hmm.
things. And I think that's coming. I really do. And because you've seen it with the prequels, is that everyone wanted to crap all over the idea of Naboo and like, this doesn't look like Star Wars. There's no stormtroopers. Look at these battle droids. But everyone loves the prequels now. And everyone lost their mind when Mando jumps in the N1 and they're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, there's Baker's Canyon. There's the pod race course. I don't know what is in store, but with any relationship, the things that annoyed you eventually start to become the things that you love about the person. So I think Star Wars is in for an interesting ride, and we'll see where we get.
Yeah, and good thoughts there. And Aram says, "Well, I'm still watching Star Wars shows and will continue to do so, no matter what." And I'm right with her on that. Am I happy about everything? No. But I feel as if I was in those shoes, John Favreau's shoes, or Dave Filoni, man, it's like it's kind of like when we were talking about the Super Bowl earlier. Do we run the ball or do we pass the ball? Sometimes you're in one of those things where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because they still do have to, if they want to keep their jobs, have to kind of please both bases. But they're certainly doing a way better job. I think we're all in agreement of this than Ryan Johnson. And
Yes, I think so, because there's difference between catering to all audiences and smashing your previous audience, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, 1000% totally agree. And the other interesting thing about this is there's so much there's still, it shows you how much Grogu mania there actually is. They cannot even contain the merchandise for Grogu at any of these parks wherever they are. And one of the very interesting things that I felt about this show, and they felt like they left me personally with some cliffhangers. I always thought, I don't know what you thought, Kika. I thought they could have stopped this at episode 6 and not even have had chapter 7. I think if they would have stopped it there may have been even more conversation. But okay, they had chapter 7. Um and I get it. And they have a lot of open-ended questions there. But one of the things that was interesting is I think that everyone would assume, oh, well, Grogu chose Mando. End of the story. That's it. He's just going to stay with him. But there's no way. There's a reason they didn't show you whatever the actual interaction was between Grogu and Luke. Furthermore, they would have never have shown Grogu having that flashback with the 501sts, leaving that mystery, showing that person next to him, but you can't see what it was. If he just picked and told Luke, no, I just want Mando, I feel like that there's something else there, obviously. And it's not just going to be Mando helping him through. He doesn't know anything about Order 66. It's going to be Luke. But I'm actually really interested to see what actually happened or what's going on. But what's your take on that specifically?
Well, I was actually shocked, to be honest, when because this is the Book of Boba Fett. That's the story. That's the show.
Mhm.
When we get Mando, because we knew that was coming, Fennec's like hire some muscle, and then the
Yeah.
next show we get some Mando. I was like, oh, cool. There he is. That's what he's been doing, and he's getting a little shirt. I was actually shocked. I think I've even said on my own podcast that Luke will not show up. He's not leaving to spend an episode with Grogu. Something's going to happen that keeps him on the planet to fight with Boba Fett. The Pikes are inbound. I was convinced. And then the episode happens where you see him off doing his own thing. And I was like, okay, what happened to Boba? And, we can talk about whether that was the right move or not. But then you get to Luke, and then you get to Ahsoka and the fabulous Filoni episode, which I don't think there's a single person on this show listening that didn't enjoy that. I mean, everyone did. But then you were left with the question at the very end, the cliffhanger, what's he going to pick? And I was convinced again that we will not get that answer until Mando season 3, because that way that was the thing. And then, we're going to use the last episode, to do Boba Fett and do all that thing. I was convinced. And then what do you know? Here comes the X-Wing. Here comes R2. And I'm like, oh, okay, apparently. So I don't know from a storytelling perspective what the benefit of that was, because it feels a tad disconnected, and that's just my opinion, feels a tad disconnected that you would go to the depths of exploring the Clone Wars, Order 66, and then just completely doing away with it, because there's obviously a reason for that. And we have, 50 years of story that obviously, where was Grogu? What was he doing? What other flashbacks are we going to have? Who is going to activate those flashbacks, essentially? I think there's a lot to unlock there that we will unlock. And whenever my man starts saying his first words, I think we may even get some more exposition there. So it's interesting. It really is. But I did not see that coming. And I'm already ready for Mando season 3. If that's what their goal was, then I guess they pulled that off.
Yeah, and I'm really ready for Mando season 3. And yeah, it did feel a little bit disconnected with that. I totally agree. Again, but I
Can
actually
I
have a
just say,
theory.
like, how powerful was it in that episode 5 where you see like the plastic curtains, you see the silhouette, and then he just walks through, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Mando," because who would have thought 3 years ago when they heard we were getting this story, The Mandalorian, and we get this guy that looks like Boba Fett walking around, and now I would argue he's probably one of the most popular Star Wars characters ever created. People just love him, and he has a shelf present. One of my favorite TikToks I saw. I know you like combat sports and things. Did you ever do like the wrestling, WWE, and all that?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Come
Okay,
on.
good. Okay, so you know Stone Cold, the glass break, but it was a TikTok where it's like when Favreau and Filoni call you to save the franchise, and it's the glass break, and it's this guy in this Mando cosplay walking out his front door, grabbing his Beskar spear, and that's exactly what I felt happened, because it was kind of trudging along a little bit, episode 4, but then he came in episode 5, and everyone's like, "Oh, hell yeah, let's go! It's Mando time." But go ahead, I interrupted you, man. Sorry.
Oh no! Hey, it's our show. Yeah, no, I can't wait. And I actually have a theory, and we'll see if it pans out. I actually think they didn't show you that scene because one of my calls is, and I could be way off. I think that Grogu actually chose both. And he wanted the lightsaber, and he wanted the armor. And maybe Luke at that point was like, well, no, you could only choose one, so since your heart's not all the way in it, you're going here. Or who knows what interaction they had. Maybe Ahsoka didn't leave, she was still there. Obviously she inserted herself. What Favreau and Filoni did very, very clearly is you wouldn't think that Luke at that point, except through the Force ghosts, really would have a mentor. But it sure seems like Ahsoka Tano is helping him out a little bit, giving him advice, a little bit like a mentor, which I was very, very happy to see, because it was where Anakin used to be, her teacher. Now she is lending some advice to Anakin's son. And I feel like she can maybe help bring balance, because maybe Grogu has a destiny where has to go outside the Jedi parameters. Maybe it has to go outside what the armorer said, all her things. It has to go outside her parameters. Maybe Grogu, is it possible that he could be both? And I'm thinking that that's probably going to continue to go on for sure in season 3. But I don't know if you got any thoughts on that, but that's kind of my theory. We'll see if it's right.
I hope so, but then we run into you said the RJ word not too long ago. We come into the episode or the issue of the continuity of Luke's choices and his decision making, and we could talk hours about this, but I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. So you have Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi foregoing, the idea of that you can't have attachments to attach himself to his father to prove to the Emperor that, hey, family means more to me than anything. Strike me down. That's fine. That's cool. And to where then he walks out to the Ewok villages and is hugging all of his friends and his family. Attachments. And then magically all of a sudden we find out you can't have attachments anymore. And it's odd to me that he's being so, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of YouTube theories about all these different things. It's odd to me that he has now changed his tune, literally just a little bit ago to start a Jedi Order, which he knows is flawed and failed, and something that I'm sure Force Ghost Anakin has probably talked to him about and said, hey, let's chill with some of these ideas and go from there. And maybe they'll expound on that. But it's so strange to me that you have, Luke sitting there making him choose to forsake family, essentially. And then, who knows what comes from that. But the one thing I will say that I don't think is going to happen. Do I think he can be a Mandalorian Jedi? Yes, I do. But I don't think he will be the ruler of Mandalore, because I just don't see how he can wield the Darksaber. I mean, it's too big for him. Now, does that mean that he can't rule Mandalore? I think the storyline dictates that Boba Fett himself or Din Djarin is going to end up being the rightful ruler of Mandalore. And, then Grogu can do what he wants. He can be a Mandalorian Jedi, like Tar Vizsla, whatever. But that's my opinion. I feel like it's too hokey to have Grogu wielding the Darksaber. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's a really good call out about Luke. And I think that through some, it's already been. I don't know if the rumor's been confirmed, but certainly Hayden Christensen is signed back to Star Wars. There is a rumor that he's doing lines with Rosario Dawson in the Ahsoka series. You're going to have Luke in the Ahsoka series at several points, and I think that through a combination of perhaps some, some mentoring, whether it's from Anakin or whether it's from Ahsoka, I still think he's going to be. I am convinced he's going to be part of Grogu's journey, Luke. Still, I just don't know exactly how this is going to work. Put it to you this way: I'm still sticking with my original theory. I always said at the end of the finale, the Mandalorian's going to get visitation rights. Some weekends he's going to have Grogu, and some weekends Luke is going to have him. I'm still going to stick by that, but we'll see what goes.
I'm gonna throw this out there then. I love speculating and such and talking about this. Is it possible, Aries, that you're correct, and he took the chainmail and he took the lightsaber? Din is going to see the lightsaber and he'll be like, wow, you can use that pretty well. Why can't I use this Darksaber? Let's go back and see Luke to see if we can't figure out how to use this Darksaber. Because they're obviously putting that as a plot point, that the Darksaber usage and not being able to use it properly is an issue. He already cut his leg open. You saw him swinging it around like a maniac, against Paz Vizsla. And then even when he was fighting the droids, he could barely lift it, which it's so funny that, Moff Gideon was around swinging it around like a baton. And now you got this Mandalorian warrior who doesn't know how to use it. So I think there's got to be something to that someone's got to give him a little bit of training or so. And I doubt it's going to be Bo-Katan to say, okay, let me show you how to use it, because she wants the Darksaber overall. And so I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she's like, let me teach you how to use it so I can win it from you, type of thing. Who knows?
Well, we'll have to see. Chewy73 says, with the $5 drop, thank you, Chewy, did I pull the trigger on the quarter scale Boba Fett and feel great about it? And I say, yes. Hey, thank you there, Chewy73. I had you up there for a little bit. And KG Collector is in the house. KG, I'm wondering, how are you feeling? Because I know that the Hot Toys Wizard took on your likeness during our live show on Monday night. So is it possible? Did you have the adverse effects like Fabio and some others? Or did you actually feel great afterwards? Kiko, I don't remember, but I think that you said that you actually had no effect or you felt great.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Yes, sir.
So there you go. So I guess it affects everyone different. I mean, I guess the majority gets affected, but I guess it's like anything else
It depends on
sometimes.
what you've been sipping on that evening, though, as well.
Well, maybe you were sipping on some of this off-world Jawa egg juice, or perhaps Kiko, you watched the market chart show. Maybe some of the wizard juice, which gives us kind of like some of these, insights into some of the things over here. And Lane Kramer is in the house. Hey, afternoon, evening to everyone. Come on. Come on. That is absolutely awesome. Good to have Lane in here. It was great having him on the show the other day. Um, Single Songwriter puts this up. Welcome in here, Single Songwriter. He says, 6 scale cantina. What if Grogu is the Mandalorian? And Din Djarin is just one of many that Grogu will meet in the 850 plus years he is alive. And Kiko, is it possible that he just blew my brain right out of my skull? Answer that question, please, because that's actually very fascinating.
It's a wonderful theory. It really is, because I love those type of titles or stories or anything like that, to where the twist is in and you're like, oh yeah, of course it's the Mandalorian. I never said it wasn't, that type of thing. It could be really, really fun. I do worry about, is it possible to eventually get Grogu fatigue? Because, eventually he's not going to be as cute, just as we all are cute as babies. We grow up to be
He's
whatever
gonna
we
get old
are.
like Yoda,
I mean, Yoda's cool, but he's not
Yeah.
cute. And I don't know if we can live with 600 years worth of episodes. So it's going to be interesting for sure. His story is not over. I know it's going to be a staple for Star Wars for quite some time. I'm excited to see where it goes. And kind of like we joke about, in the Marvel world, what iteration of the costume are they going to get next? I can't wait to see, the chainmail Grogu figures are going to start to come out. And then eventually he'll probably get more, build up pieces. He'll get some shoulder pads. He'll eventually get the helmet. He'll get his backpack. And who knows? I mean, I saw that little, I think it's a little image of someone put together where it's essentially the Mandalorian's outfit, but with the front and the ears cut out. Looks like a little gladiator. So it could be cool, man. It could really be cool.
and putting this up from Mafia, I know he was referring to my partial Hulk Hogan impersonation when he said, Aries, quit grandstanding and hot dogging, brother, and be sure to take your vitamins. Well, what you gonna do when the Hot Toys wizard comes back and takes on you? What you gonna do? Come on there, Anthony. Come on. Um, it's very, very interesting indeed, this whole scenario. And I think that you hit on something great, Kiko, because I've been saying this all along, and I think they're going to do this. I think you're going to get Grogu, and I think what they're going to be doing is he's going to be in little bits. You're going to hear about him, but he's not going to be like the focal point. But I think he'll be like, remember in Empire Strikes Back, or even Return of the Jedi, or even all the prequels, Yoda was in there, and everybody knew Yoda's a big part of the movies, but he's not in there every single second. And I think that they probably are aware of exactly what you just said. I have thought about that as well, and are probably making. I think the first plan that they had to do, because here's something that I brought up, and I really feel like that's why they did this in the Book of Boba Fett. They almost shot themselves in the foot with that finale of The Mandalorian season 2. It was so epically incredible. But the one thing that they did, and again, I'm going to bring up the story again. I brought it up several times, but I'm watching with my daughter, one of my daughters. She's my youngest one. And she's not a Star Wars fan, but she likes Star Wars. She's a big Marvel fan, huge Spider-Man buff. But she was tearing at the end, and she walked up and said that sucked because Grogu was gone. So in her mind, there's no more Grogu. And I think that they probably got that hint after the finale in the weeks to come, where people are like, well, we're not going to watch that anymore, the casuals, because the little green guy is gone. And they were like, wait a minute. Let's make sure that everybody knows that this is not the end of the story. And I really feel like that was part of what they wanted to make sure that they got out. And with your 32%, even higher ratings than the other one that you said, I think it's clear that they accomplished that.
Yeah, I definitely think they did. But I just worry that let me ask you this. Do you feel like it lessens anything from Luke's coming to get him and take him away, because that was a big moment for Mando to take his helmet off, give up his kid, and then Luke walk away, to ultimately have him not be with his original goal was to get him to Luke, and now he's not back with him. Does that bother you at all? Like the ending of season 2 and now with where we're at in this current story?
No, and I appreciate that opinion, because there are quite some there are some people that had that fear and that type of thing. For me, in my perspective, I don't think it takes away at all, because I've always looked at that finale as a window, not even a window, as a giant a giant roof coming open of story and wonderment to come, of what is going to happen. I actually really took it as, wow, they are 1000% subtly, I don't think on extended end, on a major end, but on some subtle ends, they are going to retcon the sequels. I am 1000% convinced they're going to retcon a few things in there. They're also going to make some additions. And I took it as, this is just a moment that they're going to expand upon. This is absolutely not the end. There's no way. Because even from my mind, I knew with how popular Grogu was getting from the 2 seasons, there's no way. There's 2 things that you can't do if you're Disney. You can't kill off that character, number one. You can't kill it off, kill him off. And you have to some way keep that going where he is involved in the story. So I don't think it really took away at all. The only way it would, if it was an emphatic ending and that was meant to be it. In other words, like some people have some, uh, they're not all that into a Return of the King, Lord of the Rings continuation, even if it was, they're like, no, just leave it there. It's done. I don't want anything else more from that. So unless it's something like that, I really don't feel it from where Star Wars is, that was the end. So I don't think so. But what do you think?
Well, you definitely piqued my interest a few minutes ago when you said that they are subtly going to retcon some of the I'll say it, some of the disastrous issues, I think, from the
Mhm.
sequels. Do I have any issue with the actors? Let me just go out and say no. I think they
No.
did what the storytelling and the writing. That's my issue. That's it. And I think if you can just fix those things and honor our legacy characters, that's all I'm asking for. So here's something that I actually read and I really like, because I think it makes sense. So, Filoni started the whole World Between Worlds with Ahsoka. You look at Ahsoka's little, I guess, character poster of the show. It looks like it's got the pieces from World Between Worlds in there. And so I think that's
Yep.
going to come into play. And someone actually said, is it possible, Aries, that Ahsoka, knowing, having looked through time essentially, sees what happens to Luke and realizes that the way to change Luke in his academy is to essentially go back and save Grogu. So she's the one that saves Grogu through the World Between Worlds, which then sets the thing in motion to where, yes, Luke is still building his temple. He's doing all those things to where he does become that first student. Something happens, obviously, where he goes back to Mando, but he still goes back in there, because there is that discrepancy where they say that, especially, now that we have the lightsaber back from Yoda, there is that discrepancy where they're like, yeah, Ben was Luke's first student, which now we know is not true.
Mm.
So is there something there? And I think there's going to do some, tomfoolery a little bit and maybe do something in the Ahsoka show, or at the very, very worst, we'll just kind of keep those shows and keep them quiet and keep them out of sight, out of mind. Go and tell the Thrawn story the best they can, and we'll see where it goes from there.
No, you bring up an interesting thing, and it's not that I've been scared to say it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it because everybody knows me here, Aries Terry. Today, I'm going to go out on a limb. If I had a gun to my head and I actually had to choose realistically which direction that they were going to go, like you said, are they actually going to go world between? Are they going to go with the whole going back in time? I say yes. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. It's going to change, and they're going to retcon that part of the sequels, which doesn't necessarily
Is it
change.
cheap storytelling? Probably, but at the very end of the day, people are going to be happy that it happened.
But let me ask you a question, and that's a good point. It could be very cheap storytelling. Is that better or worse than killing Luke in The Last Jedi when Mark Hamill didn't even want to be killed off. I understand Harrison. He wanted God. Goodbye. Gone. He's gone. The things that they did in there, that was the number one biggest thing for me. I thought Maul was, before that, the biggest blunder in cinematic history to kill off this guy. That's why that they brought him back now. Lucas, out of that because he knows he messed up on it. And then you kill Luke off. And I just didn't see why they had to do that. I don't see any reason why Ben had to die as well, which is something that is rumored that they're also going to retcon. But they could actually go this whole way. So, my brain is telling me that it's going to be subtle differences. My heart's been telling me all along of my spirit that they're just going to retcon this sucker and mess with the timeline, and they're going to do this with the Ahsoka series. And what did you say there? Like in the poacher, you see the world between worlds, that whole thing with Ezra, that whole thing that they, went over and experienced before. I say yes, Kiko. I really think they're going to go this way.
And as I said, is it cheap storytelling? Maybe, but everybody, who would have ever thought, you can look behind me. I love my Marvel stuff. Who would have ever thought, through the multiverse and Doctor Strange, that they were going to put all the Spider-Man movies together to make sense, the X-Men movies together to make sense. People crapped all over those old X-Men movies, and now they're officially canon, through the multiverse, and people are okay with that. And so if we can figure out a way to have a multiverse of madness in the Star Wars world, and that ends up being the world between worlds, I'm okay with that, because we can see, and I'm fine with saying, hey, here's the choices of your actions, and you end up with Hobo Luke doing some bad things. But because of other actions, here's the other path. Because that's life, man. That is the whole idea, is that our life is full of choices, and there's consequences for those choices. So let's see the good choices and how it pays off, and the bad choices and how it pays off, and let someone decide what path they want to go. That's Star Wars. You can decide what path you want to walk. So I guess we'll see from here.
Yeah, I'm putting this up from Seth with a $10 drop. My man Seth, who says those damn Vespo kids took a lot from Book of Boba, even with these 2 episodes being about Mando. Having more classic bounty hunters like Bosk would have been better for the story. I thank you so much for that, Seth, with a $10 drop. No, I totally agree. Totally agree as we're continuing on with that. And Seth with the $10 drop, put it up there. And then just from our own, going back to your question. Your point, she said that Din has problems wielding the Darksaber, and she thought that Din would train with Luke to learn how to use it. I kind of thought that as well. I kind of thought, and it's still, like you were saying, it's still possible they could still go that way. We're going to have to see. But real quick here before we continue with this, I do have a message that I have to put up. I got a message from Will. Will wants me to put up this message. So hold on. Let's hear from Will. Will from Will Fox Vacation. Let's play this.
I love me some Will.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Will here from Will Fox Vacation. Just here to check in with you guys because, we got an awesome video for you tonight, and I really just want to check it. What's up, fellers? This is an emergency interruption from the Hot Toys Wizard, and as you can tell, I have taken over the likeness of Will from Will Fox Vacation. Come on, baby, it's very exciting time, so I want y'all to be excited with me. And you have to wonder, is it possible that I've given Aries some more news about Hot Toys Star Wars figures? And I say hell to the yeah, baby, because for Will Fox Vacation, this is the Hot Toys Wizard, and all I got to say is, you're watching 6 Scale Cantina. Come on now, baby. Woo! Doggy, let's go.
Listen, wow. I mean, the Hot Toys Wizard just duped me, Kiko. I thought it was a special message. Will wanted to say something. I put it up, but it was a darn interruption from the Wizard.
I'm blown away. I'm befuddled. I'm hornswoggled at this moment because when I heard the piano, I thought it was going to be my man Will playing the piano, and boy, was I taken for a loop just now. Um, Let me just say the cinematic quality of the storytelling that the wizard has figured out is sublime. So
Mhm.
that's some good stuff. So what do you think is coming down the pipe here, man?
Yeah, that's exactly. It was perfect timing. What to get into? You have to wonder if maybe Favreau and Filoni should maybe hire the Hot Toys wizard or seek out some help with that or some assistance. They could really that would be awesome to get that. But putting that up though, we're going to get right into that here. Fat Batman puts in pure gold. Laugh my a off, of course. Big Dog Pal says, Will, Foxification killed it. Sled Dream said, Will, Foxification, love it, Will, from the Padawan Collector. Patty Melt Will. Van City Collectibles. You gotta love it. What is happening? LM, come on, laugh my butt off. Chewy 73, Max's Geekdom. What is going on? From Andreas, El Professoro in the house. What's going on, Mario? Good to have you in here. It was good having Mario on the panel on Monday night. Make sure you subscribe to El Professoro. Good having him in here. 808 is rolling over, dying. Six Scale Mafia enjoying the stuff. Come on. All right, so listen, you have to wonder, what about some of these things that the Hot Toys Wizard told me? But let's go ahead and bring this up. I'm going to first ask you as we get into this here and pull this up onto the screen. Let's see if I have the right image. I still have the quarter scale up. So Kiko, I'm going to directly ask you. You have to wonder, is it possible that since we're getting this with this armor, which you said was more recognizable to you as Boba Fett with more wear and tear, are we going to get this in 1/6 from the Book of Boba Fett series? Is this imminent that this is going to come out in 6 scale?
Yes, and I'm going to try to do a mind-blowing opportunity here. Is it possible that the repaint is this one that they just completely kind of forego, and that because they want it to be movie accurate? Because I think it's going to be probably, just as I had said before, that the Fennec Shand would end up being a Book of Boba Fett box. I'm wondering if this one will be the Book of Boba Fett piece that they put on it. If not, great. But yes, this one is coming, but I would love for them just to give us a little something, help us out a little bit here, because the characters are almost too identical. To have the throne is cool, but you could put those next to each other, and I don't know if you would sell both of them very well. So let's just take it, give us this armor on the throne, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I would be happy with that too. Here's the caveat with that. So they actually, and it's very interesting. The Fennec is actually labeled a Book of Boba Fett figure, and clearly she has the same outfit, and clearly she wore that same exact outfit in The Mandalorian season 2. But that ending scene, they have the throne version that they have up for pre-order right now as a Mandalorian ending credit scene figure. So I guess the question is, because he was kind of wearing this still, and the throne is still relevant. The throne is still there. So they technically could do what you're saying. I actually think that they would keep that one the way it is and actually give us a whole new one, which kind of seemed to a lot of people like, oh, we're just getting that one though. Is this enough? And I guess the interesting thing is here, when you talk about the quarter scale, how amazing this looked in quarter scale, it probably will look pretty darn good in 6 scale, but there's not going to be much of a difference. You're not going to get the throne with it per se if they come out with this individually. But let me ask you this, Kiko. What can they give you if they give you this? Or would it just be a straight release? Would it be a deluxe like the Empire Strikes Back deluxe? Could it be? Is it possible? Just like you remember Return of the Jedi, you had that awful Sarlacc pit base that it comes with. Could it come with something like that? I mean, there's a lot of different scenes in there.
Right, and I think I know what you're hinting at, and I think it could be. Could the diorama environmental base that comes with this version of a 6 scale figure, could it be the head of a Rancor possibly? Most likely. That seems like it would be an absolute money idea, because if you
Mm.
have the throne Boba Fett, because there's some people that aren't going to get the throne version. They're going to get the one, but they're not going to get the deluxe with the throne. They just want the figure, and they got that
Right.
pre-ordered. There's 2 of those coming out, 2 SKUs. All right. So if you want to get somebody to get another one that looks almost identical, you're going to have to give them something more than just the figure. It can't just be the exact same thing, because if I got bad eyes. If I'm looking across my hall and I see them standing there, unless I get up on it, you're not going to be able to tell very much. So I think it does have to have a bigger price point piece, and that deluxe would be the base of a Rancor head. I think that makes sense to me. That's the one I want to say. I think that the market is there for it. What would you want to see? Because I don't know what else you could get. Certainly don't give me one of the colorful scooters. I don't want that by any means. Are they going to give you a back to tank for him to sit in? That they're going to give you a floor
no.
of? I mean,
Please no.
it's got to be the Rancor. If they're doing the blurg, I think you have to do like the environmental head of a Rancor. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would love to see that.
Dude, so you're talking about, like, would they give us? You're thinking about a base for a 6 scale that would be the head of a Rancor. That's what you're suggesting.
That's you have to give me something that is worthwhile, because otherwise I'm not going to buy both of those figures. So you have to entice me somehow,
Dude.
and that would entice me.
Well, and you just had me. Is it possible that I just spilled and dripped some of the spotchka on my leg? And I say, yes, there's no, man, I would love that, because that was epic to me to see him riding that Rancor. And you knew that when he said it and he called it out, that he was going to, that this was going to happen, and maybe not in this season, but when he told, Danny Trejo that, and that was going to happen, the new Rancor keeper, come on. So yeah, if they can give us that quarter scale figure with that wear and tear on a base like that, I would be in on it all day long. I think that would be perfect.
And because I'm thinking through this, just trying, because all you're going to be able to get is the head at most. Maybe if they want to cheap out, they would do like the back spines or something that he's actually like sitting on, something like that. But if you just do the head that he's like sitting on, it's kind of the same as the actual blurg size, just the head. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities thinking that they can't just give you the head. I mean, I think they can. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, and welcome everybody who's in here to the Aries Tarrington Show. My special guest Kiko collects here on a Wednesday night. Are you kidding me? And Victoria from Victoria's Cantina in the house, and with a $5 drop. Victoria, thank you so much. Howdy to you both. I really, really, really want this Book of Boba Fett version of Boba in the 1/6 scale. Come on. Yeah, I really, really want that as well, Victoria. And I would like it too, Kiko. I know I'm getting the quarter scale, but I would certainly get the 1/6 scale, because I collect all the 1/6 scale ones. And I know that there's some comments in here, and they're valid, like that they wouldn't come out with the 1/6 scale because they're coming out with the 1/4 scale. The one argument I have to that, I think we have to wonder, and that's possible, is that they are coming out with a chrome-plated Mandalorian and Beskar Mandalorian the same time as they were coming out with the quarter scale Mandalorian, the same time they're coming out with the chrome-plated Mandalorian. They have to give you something with Boba Fett from this show. I actually think we may get 2. I hope they just give us 1. But I just don't see a scenario where Hot Toys and Disney, they don't give us another Boba Fett. I think it's going to be this quarter scale one while it's up on, on pre-order to get that. You're going to get another one. I just think that there may be something different with this that's going to make it stand out different. But I don't know. I mean, do you see a scenario where they don't come out with a Boba Fett from the Boba Fett show for an in 6 scale? I mean, do you see that?
No. I mean, do I ever see them not coming out with a Spider-Man? Do I ever see them not coming out with an Iron Man? It's an easy repaint. It's an easy reissue. But with Spider-Mans and Iron Mans, there's differences enough. A scratch on a helmet is not a difference enough for me. I know a lot of people were really pissed between the Chrome Beskar Mando and the normal Beskar Mando. Can you imagine if they literally just released that Boba with just the scratch on the eye and then say, hey, 300, please. A lot of people are not going to like that. You have to give them something. If it's going to be labeled as Book of Boba Fett, there has to be something that differentiates it from being the Book of Boba Fett. And to me, that it's synonymous with the Rancor, because there's not enough. Let's be honest. There's not a lot of Boba Fett scenes in the Book of Boba Fett, and the one thing that really resonated with people was him on the Rancor. So that's my prediction. That's my thought. We'll see where it lands, man.
Well, listen, everybody, listen. It's the Aries Heritage Show. I've got my special guest, Kiko. We're going over some is it possible scenarios here. And did you hit the like button yet, baby? All you have to do, besides believe, is just hit the like button. Go right on there. Go to your computer. Take the time. Move your hand and hit the like button. And listen, maybe you watch me all the time. As a matter of fact, I know that there's many of you who watch me a lot because I see it in the statistics. But you don't hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. That way you know when I'm live, baby. Come on. And while you're at it, my special guest, Kiko, from Kiko Collects, who has an awesome channel, an awesome vibe. You got to subscribe to him too. So while you're hitting the like button, just scroll down. Oh, there's the link to his channel. Click on it. Hit subscribe. Come on, Kiko. I love the little statistics that we get to see.
Oh, I love the statistics too, man. And can I just say, I was not expecting a Bo Dallas reference tonight. That was fantastic. Well done. Thank you.
There you go. Okay, you see, you know your stuff. You know
of
your
course,
stuff,
dude. I'm right in there with you, man. Come on.
Come on. Yeah, I don't see a scenario where we don't get it, but this is an interesting thing I want to get into with you as we talk about possibilities. I warned a lot of people, and I'm so glad you brought up the 32% thing, because I was actually going to bring it up later this week and on an insider video. Star Wars is hotter than it's ever been. It's hot, hot, hot. But I don't see a scenario where they come out with Boba in the robes from this show. That I could guarantee you. I mean, I could be wrong. I can't guarantee, because with Hot Toys, you'd never know. But I really don't think we're going to get him in the robes from this show. That's not going to be their hot seller. It's going to be him in the armor. But go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong.
Is it possible that we could get the Tuscan white dirty outfit? Maybe. Is it possible that we could get the naked out of the tank look? Maybe. But is it possible we even get the bathrobe? Is that, if that's what you're referencing, that bathrobe that he loves to put on right after he got ripped apart by Chrysanthemum? Maybe. I mean, if they got the head sculpt, they got the body, who knows what they're gonna do, man?
Yeah, who knows? It's gonna be really, really interesting. And Major Bren Derlin with the $20 drop, Kiko. And I'm gonna let you answer this first. Hello, do either of you ever swap out bodies for better posing or seamless arms? And if so, which are your favorite bodies to use? Thanks for the great content. You first, Kiko.
Well, I've never done it for Star Wars. I can tell you that. No real desire or need to. I have swapped out a body for my Michael Jackson. There's the Thriller Michael Jackson comes with the, I guess, zombie outfit and zombie head sculpt and the normal one. It gives you the outfit, but it doesn't give you the body. So I did get a body for that one, so that way I could have two Michael Jacksons displayed. The other one I want to do, though, is my Bane from Dark Knight Rises. He's kind of small, and I know that I forget what the model number is, but there's a Fison, I think it's like buff. I forget what the actual model is, but I do want to do that to basically get me the buff Bane. So he looks actually, screen accurate, because I love the head sculpt, love his outfit, but the body's just a little bit puny. So I've never done it for a Star Wars figure, but I have done it for Michael Jackson. And I know Fison is the one that people love to do. There is a company, I forget what it is, but they do all like the Egyptian gods. Have you seen those recently? And those are really, really
yes,
good bodies.
I have
They're all seamless. They're all seamless. And I've actually seen one in person when I was at Toy Department in Cincinnati. They had Anubis there, and those are really, really good. And I think it's Fison that does them too. So if you're looking for seamless, that'll probably be it. But regardless of anything that's got a seamless body, you do run the risks of something cracking, because nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. So it's going to be a gamble. But for me, with a hot toy, I feel like the hot toy bodies 99% of the time are more superior than what you're going to get on the aftermarket. So for me, I'm just going to keep them as it is because I'm not very talented and I don't want to break something.
Yeah, and Major Bren, I'm right there with Kiko on that. I haven't ventured into it. That doesn't mean that I won't. I look at some of the videos. I've looked at a lot of those Viking bodies. I've thought about it. I'm more about preserving the way it actually is. So I actually haven't, but that doesn't mean that I won't to get some better posing or to perhaps have a different look. Now, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't consider um, having a different version of a figure that I'm okay to experiment with. That's a possibility. But thank you so much for that. This is funny here. I got to put this up, Kiko, because you're gonna laugh. Chewie goes bathrobe Boba, LOL, and Victoria goes yes to you Hefner Boba.
I think it was like a nice navy robe. I have to go back and see it, but it was nice. I wouldn't mind having that for myself, but I don't want my, protagonist of my show wearing that.
Well, listen. Here's the next. Is it possible? And I heard from the Hot Toys Wizard, and maybe this is. I've heard a lot of information from the Hot Toys Wizard. Perhaps when the Wizard interrupted this show in the guise that Will Foxification had a message for me, this is what he was referring to. One of the things that is imminent, that is coming. We may get an announcement tonight, actually, but it's coming very, very quickly. And I'm going to put it up on the screen. Kiko. This is actually Cobb Vanth, in case you didn't know. They have the name right here. But come on. Ending credit scenes too. So we got the Casca.
Yeah. There's some big stuff coming for from my man Cobb. I did not expect him to be the big reveal at the end of Book of Boba Fett. Spoilers if you haven't got that far yet. But there's obviously some plans for that, and I've heard a bunch of people talk about how potentially he could end up being, the new lead character for Rangers of the New Republic or something like that. So there's lots of stuff coming. But I think with this, I didn't care about Axe Wolf's head sculpt. I need the Timothy head sculpt. You cannot have this character without the head sculpt. I mean, look at that young man.
Yeah, no, you can't. You absolutely have to have it. And the fact that he actually came in, I was actually in the series, which I called from the beginning. There was no doubt that he was going to be in it. I just felt that they were going to use him, unless, of course, there was something negotiation wise that they were going to be having some difficulty with, and apparently they didn't. But I had a smirk on my face when I saw that the ending credit scene was actually a character that was already in here, and it was Timothy Olyphant. Because the reason I had a smirk is they're basically showing us, hey, we're investing in Timothy Olyphant. You could expect to see this actor as in a big supporting role. I was happy about that, dude, just for that reason. What about you?
Yeah, it is. And I think most people assumed, because Cad doesn't miss. He knows exactly where he's shooting every single time. And he did not blow a death blow to Cobb Vanth. And I think most people knew that. And, dead men tell no tales is what I always say. And so you can't kill Cobb. He needs to be able to tell the story of how great Cad Bane is and all that stuff. Either way, so I knew Cobb was alive. But to get that vindication that he was going to be making an appearance, not just going to be making an appearance, but he's going to be modified. So does that mean he's getting a Winter Soldier arm? Is he getting what exactly is going to be the new iteration of this character? And what are your thoughts on that? And is he going to be getting his own show? Is he just going to be coming back to help Mando? What are your thoughts, man?
What I think is going to happen with this, when it comes to Cobb Vanth, is it's possible he could get his own show. I really think what they're going to do, one of the things I really enjoyed about Chapter 7 was the interaction between Boba and the Mandalorian, because I loved in the Mandalorian season 2 how Boba was piloting the Slave One, and it was kind of like the A Team, and he was like part of the A Team, and Din Djarin's kind of leading everybody, and Casca's doing her role, and then you had Bo-Katan doing her thing, and Casca doing this, and everybody doing that. Like, man, I could get so into this, them teaming up together, going on missions, going on exploits, doing things like that. and I felt like they were teamed up together again, and I almost lost my stuff with it because that's really, really what I like. Um, and I think what's going to happen is he's going to join the fray. I think he's going to join Boba Fett. I think possibly what's going to happen here is what happened in the book of Boba Fett. They're going to carry on over into the Mandalorian season 3. I think you're going to see a lot of Boba in the Mandalorian season 3. I think you're going to see a lot of Cobb Vanth in the Mandalorian season 3. I think that's where they're going with it. But what do you think? But that's my thoughts.
I was going back and watching some of Mando season 2. Yeah. When he goes back to get Mayfield and says, "Hey, I need you to help." And when you're talking about the idea of the A team piling into the Slave One or fire spray, whatever you want to call it at this moment. So what I thought was so cool is, getting that squad together to get on Slave One. And there's something really cool about piling into legacy ships. And right now, Mando doesn't have a legacy ship that can transport people, So I would love, to see everyone get back together. And is it possible that Cobb goes and is able to track down another Razor Crest or something for him? They kind of hinted at that because he said, "I wanted a Razor Crest." That's what Mando says. He says, "I wanted a Razor Crest." So I think eventually he'll get one. Because you can't just run around in the Starfighter forever. They did that to sell some toys and make a really cute moment. But I think he's going to get his capital ship back, essentially. And I think Cobb might play a part in that. Who knows?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So listen, we're getting into our final stretch over here where I'm going to be putting up soon the final figure of Is It Possible with Kiko. So listen, as I put in some last who calls here for sir, what table are you at? Are you at table 5 with Grogu? Are you at table 25,433? Who is at table 66? Who dares sit with this guy?
Good, and he get good.
Good. So let me know what table you're at. I'm serving it all up, but we've got lots of spotchcock here tonight. And listen, as Anakin would say, this part of the show is where
The fun begins.
So listen, I'm going to go ahead and share this because only you and Fabio, okay, Fabio from Fab's Figures, from Fabio Land, and you were the only people that I remember on panels that actually, and I'm goofing around here. I'm sure there were a ton. I'm goofing that actually were like, no, I can see this. I can see this. So listen, I'm going to put this up on the screen because I know you know where I'm going if you paid attention to some of the news today. But let me go ahead and put up my little friend onto the screen. Guess who it is? Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay, so listen, baby, listen. Jimmy Smits confirmed. We talked about this, Kiko. We talked about this some months ago. And it seemed very, very logical, like Timothy Olyphant, because this is perfect. Timothy Olyphant's an outstanding television actor that can carry a series. Jimmy Smits has been carrying series for decades. It only makes sense to introduce him in some of this stuff and have him come on into something like Disney Plus. Now you have to wonder. You really have to wonder when enough is enough. He's already in Rebels with the voice. I mean, Bail Organa. You got him in Clone Wars. You got Bail Organa. You got him in the prequels. You got Bail Organa. You got him in Rogue One. You got Bail Organa. Now you're going to go ahead and have him in the Obi-Wan series. You got Jimmy Smits. Look, the Hot Toys Wizard. He said you're going to get a Jimmy Smits figure. And listen, here's the thing. Head sculpts is where Hot Toys reigns. They would kill this baby. So I just want to talk about this. Is this now something that will never happen, or are we one step closer to the possibility?
I know that this is your passion project right here, to get this one across the finish line. But man, I'm going to be honest with you. This man is almost in as many episodes as C-3PO is. And we still don't have C-3PO.
Come on.
So I'm not trying to rub salt in the wounds, my friend, but this man plays a serious role. He really does. He seriously does. But I'm hoping if you're going to get figures, and Obi-Wan is the series where they just blow it all out, this is the one you might get. And who knows? It may be a deluxe with a little Leia. Who knows?
You know what would be really cool with this, dude? Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna make you all laugh now. This would be the talk of the community. Because right now during the Obi-Wan era, where is C-3PO? Who's he with?
He's with
He's with
them.
Bail Organa.
Yeah. So maybe a 2-pack with them?
Oh my god, that would just be the most hilarious thing ever.
That's a
would never-
great point. I'd forgotten all about that. He's on the Star Cruiser with him.
Oh my god, I would just lose it. And look, for everybody in the chat, it's not the 2-pack I want, but I'm just saying it's funny even thinking about it, especially if he showed up, or somehow in the Obi-Wan series, when if somehow Obi-Wan did connect with Bail Organa and they're face to face, and next to him is his escort or his companion C-3PO, I would die. I would just lose it. I would absolutely lose it. It would be so funny.
But then it means that the universe is right. And here's another bold prediction for you, is that if we get, what do you think we'll get first? A Hot Toys C-3PO or a Bengals Super Bowl win?
Maybe a Bengals Super Bowl win, because they look really, really good. And I absolutely think that they can get there again next year before C-3PO. But look, I have to stick with what the Hot Toys Wizard told me, that there will be an official announcement coming this year. We'll have to see. I don't think with C-3PO, Kiko, we have to wait for him to show up.
No,
if we get C-3PO from a show, I'm almost going to be upset. If we get C-3PO from the Ahsoka series, can we just get C-3PO from the original trilogy first?
You know what I want is that if they do the C-3PO, literally just have it branded Star Wars. He does not need it to be tied to any series, anything. He and R2-D2 are Star Wars. There is not I've said this before multiple times. There's a handful of figures or people to where the entire world sees them and knows exactly what they're from. And C-3PO and R2-D2 are those people. You could see, there's a lot of countries out there that don't have Star Wars, but they know that those two droids are from Star Wars. They see Mickey Mouse, they know what that is. And so it is criminal that there is no C-3PO. So just give him a Star Wars logo, slap that on there, and do some respect to my man Anthony Daniels. Let's get this going, man.
Absolutely. And Kiko 808 Michigan Jedi puts in, if they gave us Bail Organa, they have to do a 2-pack with him and Lobot. Listen, and you know what's funny about that? Stranger things have happened, but Lobot, there is a Lando series that's coming around sometime. I think we're going to learn more about it, Kiko, at Star Wars Celebration here in 2023. I think we're going to hear about it here very, very shortly. Is it really outside of the realm of possibility that when we see this Lando series, that we're going to start learning about how he got into Cloud City and maybe how he got, that whole companionship with Lobot? I tell you what, I'm not saying it's a lock-in, depending on, if Lobot's role is like 88 from this Boba Fett series, but stranger things have happened.
It's certainly true, and I'm glad you brought up Celebration, because that's right around the corner. And we announced on my Toy Aisle podcast with Dave yesterday that I will officially be at Celebration with Dave. And so we're excited about that. And so we'll be representing the Toy Aisle podcast and just being able to see each other and hang out, because we started our podcast, I guess, 67 episodes ago, about a year and a half ago. And I've never seen him in person. And this will be the first time I actually get to see him in person. So that'll be pretty cool. But we'll be at Celebration. So if any of y'all are at Celebration, make sure to come and say hi.
Oh, that's awesome. And what date is Celebration? Do you actually know the date, since you know that yet? Or is it?
It is. Please hold. I have it right here on my calendar. It is the last week of May. Let me double check it for anyone out there. Let me scroll. February, March,
I think it's
April.
the last week. Yeah, right when the New Hope has its.
Yep. That's my normal trip. Yeah, May 25th through the 28th.
Wow, wow, that's going to be incredible. Yeah, definitely, that's going to be great. The people can check you out. You're going to be at Celebration, Kiko. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited about that. That'll be my. I've been to a
Yeah.
couple other little Comic Con type things, not the Comic Con, but this will be my first Star Wars celebration. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Well, listen, I mean, it's your last call for Coffee Hall here, and Grogu needs another refill. And you have to wonder, is this what they call me?
They call him the Wizard.
Strangely, Kiko, I've never actually been. The Hot Toys Wizard has never taken on my likeness. Let me ask you this question. Is it possible? Is it more possible that the Hot Toys Wizard will take on my likeness first, or we get a Bail Organa Hot Toy figure announced first? Which one is more possible?
At this point, I definitely think that I'm going to go with you as the cameo. I'm just going to go with you. I really think that's it, because why not at that point? I know Night of Ren said, am I coming to ICCC in Nashville, where Ian McDermott and Anthony Daniels will be headlining that? Yes, because I live here. So yes, I will be at ICCC. So make sure to come see me there as well.
It's so good to have everybody in here, and this was a lot of fun, Kiko. I really enjoyed having
Man,
you
I
in
love
here.
chatting with you, man, for real.
Yeah, I feel like we could go for a million years, but I think you're going to be on a bunch of shows coming up in the future. I think you're joining me this week on the on paddle on the Market Show Live this coming Saturday. So look forward to seeing you there, and I can't wait to do this again. But let me give you a little time, my friend. Your channel is awesome. You got some great insights. I know we wanted to get into some market stuff, some other stuff. It's just great to, continue to just we'll do this again real soon. What's going on at Kiko Collects, and what can people expect in 2022 from Kiko Collects?
Well, Aries, of course, thank you for letting me come on with you. That's just so much fun. And the fact that you gave me a little bit of a bingo platform to chat and share my thoughts, I do appreciate that greatly. But I'm back now. I am back, and I am ready to hit on Instagram and YouTube. I had to take a little time off because I was just brokenhearted, but I'm back. We have a new video dropping this week on the channel. There's my wife. Thank you for putting that up. So I guess she's listening. I'm blushing. Look at me. I'm blushing. All that to say is that lost my train of thought. New video coming this week, but I did post some new things on Instagram. So if you've not done that, Kiko.collects on Instagram and YouTube. On the Kiko Collects Instagram page is where you'll see a lot of the toy photography, and a lot of these pieces do like to do that. And I love interacting with y'all. So send me a message. Like you said, Night of Ren, show up at ICCC, show up at Celebration, come on these shows, come out and hang. I enjoy talking with y'all. Love talking plastic, just being a big nerd. That's what I like to do.
Come on, and make sure you all subscribe to this man, Kiko Collects. I told you I have the link to him within the video description below. You also could just type in Kiko Collects on YouTube. Go ahead and do it. It's not much effort. Type it in, subscribe to him. He's got awesome stuff. El Profesoro, Mario says Kiko, awesome. He's going to be at Celebration at 527. So that's great. It looks like both of you will be able to meet up. Love El Profesoro's new channel now that he's broke off on his own. And loving seeing that go, and it was great having him on the show in there as well. Got so many people that are in here today, flashing everybody up. Our says great show, guys. 808, my man 808, great stream, guys. Single songwriter. Yeah, come on. I mean, I listen. Is it possible? Look, I'll say it again because I already heard it, that we're going to get an official announcement for Bail Organa. And I say yes, but I've been saying it for a while. I just haven't told you all when. But now you can start following some breadcrumbs. We'll have to see what happens. There you go, Kiko. And Amy. Amy Wilson is in the house. Amy, thank you so much for watching. And she said we all did really well. That's great. Chewy says we should all get together in person someday and have spatchka. Cheers. That's what it's all about, my friend.
I want the Jawa egg juice, though. That's my go-to.
Off-world Jawa egg juice. You didn't think that I didn't have it. It's
correct.
Right
I know you. I know you come stacked. I know you come stacked.
I absolutely do. And one thing I want to go ahead and point out, If you all enjoyed what you watched here today, and there's Fab's figures. Fab is still in the house as well. Fabio in here, my man Fabio, check him out. Um, you may want to consider becoming a Cantina Insider, because if you like this live show, I do have some live shows now. All you got to do is go to sixscalecantina.com. When you do, scroll down to that little teal bar on the right hand side. You'll see that I have Insiders Live. You'll see shows hosted by the Wizard. You'll see Grogu with the NWO. Come on, what's that all about? You see me with Felicity Jones. Yeah, I mean, Felicity Jones and I were hanging out. Man, these hot toys are so good. Come on, come on. Holy smokes, baby. Go ahead and click on any of those banners. There's so much that's up. You get some of the live shows, some different things, or click on the join button on the channel. See everything that it comes with. If you think you could benefit from it, that it interests you, you may want to consider joining. But dude, man, this was awesome.
Yeah, hell of a show, man. Thank you for having me on, and I'll be seeing you in a couple days.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you in a couple days. So I will end it like this for everybody in here. I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy from Six Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.